Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. I got a Town Star video here for you. This is actually going to be a two-part series. We're going to do part one today, and then next week, once I've had really a chance to test and move through everything, will be part two to give really my final thoughts on some of the changes that Town Star made yesterday. They announced in an update, actually on April 4th is when they officially announced it, which was 2 days ago, that they made some major changes that I think they're downplaying it a little bit in this. They at least let us know that it is some big changes, but um, they're trying to make right now in game over the last 8 months, 10 months. It's been pretty straightforward. You have a straight path from start to gas, and then when you go from gas, it's however you want to do it. But basically, by the end of the third day, you have your full build in place, and you're just kind of maintaining it, making adjustments to make it more efficient, and things like that, which makes it really repetitive. And there's been a lot of complaints around that. So what the development team has decided to do is make some adjustments to the cost of things, some good, some bad, uh, in order to extend that initial phase. One, they make it quote unquote cheaper to start out with, but it's more of a extend that phase and then make the second phase in order to get to the final stage uh, of your build is much more expensive than it used to be. With it, in actuality, at least from this is my initial viewpoint, and this is me reading through the details, and actually I've been testing it out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Um, it's definitely made it more challenging for starters, and I don't know if it's more challenging because it's extended and it's more expensive to do certain things, and I'll show you that here in a second, or if it's just new and we'll all adjust to it quickly. That's why I wanted to make this a two-part series. One, to give my initial thoughts and show you what's changed. Two, after a week of playing, to give you some ideas and some potentially pass forward with the new setup. All right. So you can read it here. They stress right here that it makes it easier to start out with. I currently disagree with that. It's definitely harder at this point. These are the changes that they've made, and I'm going to show you them here in a second. I just wanted to highlight a few. And the one that's a huge change, an absolute killer for uh, those that in the early phases. There are some workarounds which we'll talk about, but I wanted to highlight it here, and that is right here. That is the power plant. It used to cost 100,000, and it used to be 5 wood. That's it, and you could build them, and it worked out perfectly when doing most rushes to be able to get that build out. Now it is 250,000, which is insane for the early stage. And then you have wood, lumber, and energy just to build it. Now, let me rewind. I'm sorry. We did have all three of those previously. It was just five. Now it's 10, which is fine. The two killers is the cost and the maintenance cost. It now goes to 1,000 per minute, which is painful when you're in the early stages. Um, The other painful part of this is they've changed the paved roads. In order to build the power plant out, you need a paved road. Paved roads used to be 3 wood plus 10,000 cash. Now paved roads need lumber, which is a later stage, I'd say a mid-stage item to get. Plus, it's 30,000 per. So if you want to get roads throughout your entire thing, you're going to now need lumber and 30,000. So that's initial game. That's not too bad. It really starts impacting you around the power plant. The another initial stages, I'm a big fan of the wool rush in order to get into the game. It's less efficient if you don't have the wheat stand, which I do not. I do not have that NFT. What they have actually made that even less efficient now, which stinks. Right here, the feed mill. It now costs 3 wood, which that is what it is. It's here that's killing us. they've moved from 1 wheat to 2 wheat in order to go ahead and produce some feed. Again, if you have a wheat stand, it's minimal impact. Yeah, there's an impact there, but it's not bad. If you don't have one, you just doubled your entire time in order to get wool produced because it takes twice as much time to do the feed. So just looking at these three items, it is not very efficient for new starting out your city. There's going to be workarounds. We'll find them. We'll be able to go through that. We'll may need to find a different rush. For example, I know oaks. A lot of people on the Discord are talking about oak barrels. That may be the route to go here in the future. Still have some hurdles to get through the lumber and so forth. But oak is going to be a lot more used in the new builds. For example, when you're doing water pumps, you now need oak. Water facilities now need oak. And there's a few other places that also need oak that didn't need oak before. I'm trying to see if they're on here. I don't see them on here, but there's a lot of other things that have changed. Again, the cost of some items have changed. For example, fabric plant. This is later state game. This is not early state. Cakery is now 1 million. It used to be 250,000. Bakery is also more now. ATVs are more, but the ATVs were cheap. I don't disagree with that increase at all. I think that's a good choice there because ATVs were 50 and everything else was 125 or 250, somewhere in that range. So I don't mind that one at all. But there's a lot of changes. Let me actually jump in a game. I'm testing this out. I'm maybe an hour or two into it. I've definitely been feeling the pain with the 2 wheat thing. So right now I'm testing the wool rush to see how long that takes and how efficient it is. Um, I have decided that what I would normally do is get 3 sheep pens in place and producing, and then start building my refineries, my power plants, and so forth. That has become a little more of a struggle. Getting these in place isn't terrible because they've actually reduced the price of the sheep pen. That went from 40,000 to 20,000, but they've also reduced the reward for wool. And just taking a quick look, I think it was like 40 something thousand before. Now it is 37,000. Yeah, they reduced that. So that makes it a little bit more of a challenge. You can get the sheep pens in there a whole lot quicker than you used to, so you save gas, which is great. I think before I would go through at least 10 to 12 gas sending feed out while I was waiting for um, to be able to afford a sheep pen. So that's a little boost there. But for the power plants, that's going to be a later state game now. So you're going to have to utilize windmills a whole lot more, which in my build here, I'm testing out a winery, is a little more challenging since I have the two mountains in this current region. So it's making all my windmills red because I made a mistake. I should put them out here, but that is what it is. Again, this is just a test. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue through this build. That's the old standard, the wool rush into gasoline into winery. See how it goes over the next week. I'll do a part 2 of this video. My initial thoughts, just to recap on that, it is not easier for the start. It is more expensive. There's more challenges. I think we'll adjust to it as we test it out. That's why I think they gave us these next few weeks to really test it out before they do another competition. So I think by the time the competitions roll around, we'll have some new approaches that'll help with this initial stage to get to gasoline. Once you're to gasoline, the rest is straightforward if you have a layout that you have in mind. So again, part 1, part 2 will be here shortly. Hope you all enjoyed this and have a great rest of your day.